Yeah, so now we get to learn that everybody's kind of colluding together to make things incredibly bad for everybody. Okay. Yeah, we had to kill Dad again, yes. And the only hope we have is Buriki Dio. A saint from Babylonia of old is said to have controlled it with psychokinesis. Yeah, liquefaction and brainwashing is not a combo you want. And Kazu is like, hey, control it with your psychic powers! We tried, we failed. And Kaori... yeah, unfortunately Akira wasn't quite able to do it. And Matsu's like, Psycho, what's it? But it is also possible that if we took a human and liquefied it, we could put it in Buriki Dio. Yeah, welcome to Live I'll Live, where the Culligan Man delivers you fresh liquid humans 24/7. And Kazu immediately offers to find a whole lot of turtles to liquefy down, but that's not gonna work, because it needs a human in it. So, Kaori, being Kaori, also Akira's sister, remember, volunteers to be a liquefied human because her medical condition hasn't been getting better. And she's pretty sure she knows she's going to die. And she figures this is the one way she can... yes, she is dying. She's sick with an unspecified illness. She has the animes. It's fatal. And the other person's like, no, there's no reason for you to get involved. Let's calm down and think rationally here. And Matsu's like, well, if all it needs is a pilot, I'll try. But he doesn't have psychokinesis. And he's not about to liquefy himself. He's just stubborn enough to try it anyway. And Toei's like, wait a minute, my robot! So now, we must talk to everybody and read their minds. And he still wants Dad to come back for him, which we're not going to break that news to him. And she's a big Misawa fan. Since you didn't see it earlier, Misawa's a pro wrestler she watches on TV. So we pretty much talked to everyone in here. Nobody really has any actual help for us. So we need to go talk to Toei again before he lets Matsu do something incredibly stupid and foolhardy. Fortunately, we're probably going to get into a few fights along the way, just because I really don't want to sit there and spend hours and hours and hours trying to not get into fights. That raw fight the power thing is still one of the best shirts we ever came up with on TKO, by the way. For my money, anyway. Now, we can't refine items anymore, I don't think. And Matsu thought he had a shot at it, but instead he's probably just in some dive getting drunk to forget that he failed. Because Matsu did come here and try. He just did not succeed. Like, in the least. So we happen to know where a little dive bar is around here. And this guy's still offering us candy. And nobody in here has anything different except for Matsu here. And he needs something. Yeah, this is a slow version of the battle music. So yeah, so we've talked to him. He can do anything after all. Toei's not going to be of any use. But, upon stepping out, apparently some people have decided to attack Chibiko House while we were out. And thankfully, everybody in there, except for 2 people, have managed to get out. Teiko and Kaori are still inside. And it won't let us read minds because that isn't the time for it. And of course, Akira, being Akira, is just going to bull charge into the fire. Thankfully, we're not actually under any real timer here, as far as I know. But we will have to go into every door that it will let us get into. Talk to her. Get her to get out of here. Okay, Kaori isn't holed up in here. But we need to get through all these rooms, doing a good search for Kaori. Now it should let us break. No, not going to let us. Or we can't wash our hands. Nope, okay. That just didn't let us break through. We're going to have to go around. I thought it would let us break through there, but apparently not. So now this fire has mysteriously been put out. We'll read Kaori's mind. And this starts a scene. We just have to be in here when the roof's collapsing. We're going to see Matsu come in here. And Matsu has imbibed a huge quantity of the psychoactive drug Matango. Enough to pretty much kill him. Ima wa mukashi no Babylonia, Hagane no kobushi ga ten ga suku, igai yo no maji no taosu tame, hikari de hi wo tomose, atsui kokoro ga Yobi-samasu Buriki Daio Warito Hari. Even though it fades out, I'm still singing. And these two are having a heartfelt moment here. He says she's been horrible to him, and she's going to give him a chance. And we get the pretty music. And apparently we learn their names are Raiko and Yoshikazu. However, they're getting interrupted. And instead of actually going on a date with them, she runs the hell off because earthquake. Because underneath that whole park... I just sang, I'm not singing again, don't worry. Matsu, all hopped up on Matango, has apparently got this thing to move. And Toei can just shrug. And now Ezra is making the roof collapse. It was Buriki Dio. And that guarag is coming from Matsu. Ceiling Mecha is watching you fap. And Matsu has just about drained himself doing this. And Matsu, stop. No. Not gonna die. No, I'm gonna get Buriki Dio. Matsu ain't dead. So these three little crusaders, it's not so much he's drunk, but he's basically using his life essence to power the freaking mech. He's basically tapped his life essence into the mech to make it run. And every time he moves it, it's draining him just that much more. And now he's getting fried because, you know, they're shooting electric beams at him. However, Buriki can reflect those. I don't know why the leader touched them. So, before we do anything else, because remember, whatever you have equipped on a character is what carries over with them to the next chapter. Well, next chapter being, you know, what we want to do is make sure to equip all of these. Which one did I not do? The stone cannon. On him before we proceed, because this is the end of the chapter right about here. We can't talk to Kaori there. But Matsu is literally on the verge of passing out. But yeah, it's time for a scene. So, from their viewpoints, they're both being really reasonable about this. They actually are. They don't really want to fight each other. But, as anime goes, one must stand and one must fall. And it just so happens that Matsu was a little faster on the draw than Akira's dad. And he literally does need to rest. But he ain't gonna. But yeah, Matsu actually did overdo it. And Akira's like, everybody get off my damn mech. And the professor comes in just to yank Taro out of this. Matsu's not dead yet. So Akira levels up in his own way. He gets mad enough that his telekinetic power is now enough to actually move this thing. And here we go to the Odio Temple. And now that we have this thing, by the graces of the army, your ass is grass! So now we are in control, and we're going to move very slowly, and as we move slowly, we're just going to get a few encounters here that will give us the chance to actually test out the abilities of Buriki Dio, which we have Metal Hit, which is basically a shoulder check. We have Halogen Laser, which is useful against a lot of smaller enemies like that. Oh, you jerk. And for this part, you can't... Buriki Dio cannot die for these fights that we're going to run into here. And it's just you're going to run into a lot of them. And now we have some medium tanks. Let's see, Jom Bullet here. We fire off a bunch of missiles. It calls them bullets, but, you know. And the tank cannon's hitting us for a bit there. I believe we're in... We need to be down in one more left. Okay. Babylon kick here. Is a stomp. That does a ton of freaking damage. So those are the 4 abilities you have with Buriki Dio here. Notice we have basically no charge times on these. There is very little in the way of charge times involved with Buriki Dio. I mean, we don't have anything that would clear a screen, per se. But, you know. Bless their heart, they are trying. Should be the last fight. Again, something that can actually put up a fight. However, we can just stomp the crap out of it for a while. So even their flagship is kind of no match for the might of Buriki Dio. And we managed to make it to the Odio Temple. And that lake you see is essentially the 2,000 humans melted down. And the entire time, that lake has just been liquefied humans. The water of this temple's pond now contains 60,000 liters of liquefied humans. You might not want to swim in the liquefied humans. You really might not want to. It's not healthy. And the great Inko Buddha statue is going to house the spirit of Master Odio and eat all the birds. I do mean all the birds. I have no idea why that happens, but... God versus robot. Oh god, we're playing Xenogears. So we have the final fight here. Let's go down one. On a very small field, really, for these two. But there's one thing we need to do over and over, and that's Babylon kick until we have our kicks disabled. Which, that's not our kicks, that's our punches. That's our kick. So, without the arm and without the leg being able to move, we have Jom Jom Bullet. We can't move, but... we can still fire missiles at you. And yes, he shoots liquid people bubbles at us. And in all my time of playing this game, which admittedly is like 6 times through total, I think it's impossible to lose this fight. I have never lost this fight. Even when I just kind of fooled around for literally turn after turn after turn and let him get an extra 20 or 30 attacks, he just missed them all. Yeah, the Soylent Lake is made of people! But we just keep using Babylon Kick. Or Jom Jom Bullet when Babylon Kick is no longer available to us. And it dies. And now that the giant statue is dead, there's still the matter of 60,000 liters of liquefied people. Yeah, you miss the good old days when you just had to be concerned with liquid turtles. And the leaders of Japan's army, research, and religion are being absorbed by the liquefied humans. So they, yeah, they are human. They were human. They were just wearing masks and such. And Akira's going to take some time to drop some sick burns. It's like, hey, I thought you'd want to be one with them. Except for the fact that he spent so long dropping sick burns, he didn't notice that the liquefied humans were getting awfully close to Buriki Dio. So they want Buriki Dio, so we gotta get out of here. I'd focus on getting out. Yeah, anime's stupid virus happened. Time passes. So the kid's bothering Akira to make taiyaki, which means you can infer a few things from this. So it means the old taiyaki guy, meaning Matsu, is no longer around. And Akira has taken his place. So the literal hours I spent grinding up healing items with taiyaki there trained Akira well to run the stand. And Shibako House is back in working order. It still needs some work, a little bit. But you know, it's back holding all the kids. And no, it was not just a dream. Remember at the very, well, you didn't remember it because you weren't here for it, but at the very beginning he says, hey, let me tell you my story. And that was his story. Of how he became the taiyaki man. Yeah, you could literally make a one or two season anime from this one story in this game. So he saves the world, and he's not so much stuck in food service as it's kind of something he does just to kill time, I think. Kill time and make money that he spends keeping Shibako House up and running. Which is what Matsu did. Matsu quit the Crusaders and opened up the taiyaki stand to earn money to kind of keep Shibako House up and running. And that is what Akira's doing now. And you can even say there are more parallels since he did kill Watanabe's dad. That he's doing it kind of to protect Watanabe. The tough guy died. The tough guy died. Matsu pretty much drained his entire life essence getting Buriki Dio to do that little bit it did. And he spent that entire assault on the temple kind of as a crumpled up corpse. He was just kind of back there as a corpse. Yeah, and he took the bike. Why do the Mondo types always die? Because they are short on brains. That is why. Well, he could have turned into a liquefied human, you never know. I don't think he did, though. I don't think he did. But anyway, with that, I still don't think that gets as dark as the sci-fi chapter. I think the sci-fi chapter is going to beat it as far as dark goes by a fair bit. Because if you thought we were done with the 2001 A Space Odyssey references with the Little Bitten Pogos chapter, oh no, we are going to get there. Giant robots are probably considered sci-fi, but sci-fi chapter is... You'll see. You will see. The sci-fi chapter is special in its own regards. Not the least of which, it is a very... There's a lot that you will draw from just about every 90s, 80s and 90s, maybe even some 70s. Science fiction horror movie like Aliens and 2001 and all the horrific parts of those will show up. I don't know what happened to all the liquid people. I don't think the game goes into it past that. I'd like to think we found robots for them to take over. We built a whole bunch more turtle robots and had them take over those, and now they do menial house chores for people. The rise of the Robopocalypse. But yeah, I don't think the game actually goes into detail as to what happened to all the liquefied people that were in that lake. So, yeah, next Sunday, we will see the little ball robot here, and a chapter that literally has one mandatory fight in it. That's it. There is literally one fight you have to do. There are some optional fights that come if you play the arcade game in the chapter. But yeah, as far as actual combat goes that you have to do, one fight. The rest of it is going to be story. And it's and luckily for us, there is no reading of minds to go through. But anyway, that will be for next Sunday.